Have you ever felt like there's something holding you back, a pain or a fear you just can't explain? Well, what if the root of it all lies in a past you don't even remember? Today, we're diving deep into the really fascinating world of past life regression therapy, looking at what our source material has to say about it.
All right, here's our game plan. We're going to start with the mind-body connection, then get into what this therapy actually is, how it's supposed to work, what benefits people are reporting, and finally, why it's called a holistic approach.
Okay, first things first. Before we can even begin to understand the claims behind this therapy, we have to talk about something you've probably heard of, that powerful link between what's going on in our heads and what's happening in our bodies. So, our source material really kicks things off with this huge question. It's the whole foundation for everything that follows. Can our thoughts, our attitude, our will actually heal our physical selves? It's a pretty profound idea to start with. And you can see this play out in the real world. Think about it. The source points to this common observation in hospitals. You can have two people with the same condition, getting the same top-notch medical care, but the patient with that fiery will to live often does so much better than the one who's just given up hope. That's the mind-body connection in action. And this isn't just a nice idea or some hopeful thinking. The source highlights that there's actual research from some pretty big names, Stanford, Harvard, UCLA, backing this up. We're talking about studies showing that things like support groups and meditation can literally extend life, and that hypnosis can cause real measurable changes in our immune cells. So there's a scientific basis for saying the mind has a huge influence on the body.
Okay, so with that foundation laid, let's get to the main event. How does this all tie into this specific practice we're looking at today, past life regression therapy?
So what is it exactly? Well, according to the source, it's a form of therapy where hypnosis is the key. The whole idea is to guide a person to remember and even re-experience what are believed to be their past lives. The ultimate goal? To heal symptoms, both physical and emotional, that are causing problems in this life. And this quote from Brian Weiss, who's a really central figure in this field, just cuts right to the chase. He's not mincing words here. He's suggesting it can be a major part of treatment, helping to improve, and in some cases, even cure chronic illnesses. That's a pretty big claim.
Right. This is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Okay, so let's say it works. How does it work? What's the actual mechanism for healing here? What's interesting is that the author is pretty upfront that no one knows for sure, but they lay out four main theories. Maybe it's just the simple act of remembering and releasing an old trauma. Or maybe it's something deeper, like a spiritual awakening, where you realize your soul is immortal. It could also be more of a mental thing, finally understanding the why behind your illness. Or, and this seems pretty likely, it's probably some mix of all of the above. So let's move on to the results. What are the benefits that people who go through this therapy are actually reporting? Physically, the source claims the results can be pretty dramatic. We're talking about relief from all sorts of chronic issues, things like constant pain, migraines, allergies, and even conditions tied to stress and the immune system, like ulcers or arthritis. And here's the kicker, the part that really makes you stop and think. The source asserts that for some people, the relief is so complete that they can stop taking powerful pain medications for conditions that used to completely run their lives. That's a game changer, if true. But, it's not just about physical healing. There's this whole other side to it. People report huge psychological and spiritual shifts, feeling more hopeful, sleeping better, feeling less anxious. They start seeing life's problems not as insurmountable obstacles, but as challenges to be overcome. It's a total mindset shift. So when you take the physical benefits and add these psychological shifts, you start to see why the source frames this as a truly holistic approach to healing. It's about the whole person. And that's what holistic really means here. It's not about just chasing after one symptom and trying to suppress it. It's about looking at the entire person, mind, body, spirit, the whole shebang, and aiming to heal them on every level. Now, this is a really, really important point to make. The source is very clear that this isn't meant to replace conventional medicine. Not at all. It's presented as a complementary therapy, something you can do alongside your regular medical treatments to support your overall healing journey. I love this metaphor from the text because it just perfectly sums up the whole idea. Think about it. A symptom is like the pain from a splinter. You can take painkillers, you can put a bandage on it, but the pain's not really going to go away until you find and remove that tiny piece of wood. This therapy claims to be about finding and pulling out that original splinter. And that really leaves us with this final question to chew on. Forget all the specifics for a second, and just think about this. What if real deep healing is simply about understanding our own story, understanding where we come from, what we've been through, whether that story started in this life or, as this therapy suggests, a very, very long time ago? It's definitely something to think about.